Hey folks, walk with me. Well, I had a stint back in the early to mid 2000s where I was listening for a while to Alex Jones, which feels embarrassing to say at this point. Entertaining for sure, and was, I don't know, I want to say less off the deep end back in those days, but I mean, I don't know if that's really accurate. I would say maybe back in those days seemed as though he had less malicious intent, which has been unfortunate to see over the years, just how he really turned his voice and his perspective onto like innocent families and whatnot. Pretty disgusting, but in any case, the reason I bring him up is that, it just occurred to me, he was there on January 6th, right? And he had Trump on his program before. And from having been a listener for a while to his, and interested in what he had to say for a period of time, we are 25, 30 years into him saying that, American citizens are going to be thrown into camps, that FEMA camps was always the big thing, right? That they're coming to confiscate all the guns, that gold is the thing, gold and silver, the things you most have to buy, and just this whole enslavement of humanity routine that he then just sort of attacks from many different angles, right? There's sort of the corporal side of it, which is the FEMA camps, and then there's the monetary economic end of it, which is the gold and silver and all this stuff. But in any case, with the rhetoric becoming more and more clear through repetition, and through that repetition, it being said in slightly different ways, but all sort of centering around a similar meaning, thus providing clarification, it was interesting to me to think, oh, well, here's in Trump, somebody who Alex Jones, when all is said and done, is supportive of. I know he's been very critical. He had his whole F Trump rant and all that stuff, and he's said that he's not the best that we could do, but he's the best that we have right now, or whatever. And like I said, he was there on January 6th, sort of helping to lead the charge, or whatever the hell it was. Though I don't think that he was there in the thick of it when the real craziness went down. But he was out there with his bullhorn and whatever his purpose was there, I don't know. But it seemed sort of then that it more tightly knit him to Trump. And I was thinking of Trump recently being very much on this kick of the enemy within. Right, and I'll maybe do another video on how that really has the feeling of McCarthy era 2.0, which I don't think is something we want to go down the road of. But a brief side note, Alex Jones has also said before that McCarthy was right, and that we were infiltrated by communists at that point, and he was speaking the truth and whatever. Speaking the truth, yeah, it's something that he has a lot of awareness and clarity about, it seems. In any case, him always being the one talking about posse comitatus and turning the U.S. military on its own citizens and so on and so forth. He was very raising the flag on that, raising a siren on it, whatever, when it was the Tea Party, right? And this idea that they're gonna come in and break that up, or like militias, or even, what was that place, Jonestown? Is that the one in the Pacific Northwest, like in Oregon or something? I don't know, but Ruby Ridge, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But in any case, Trump is now the one who has said very recently that if he has to use the National Guard, if he has to use the military to rid us of this enemy from within, that's what it's going to take. And it's just interesting that, like, not that I listen to him anymore, but my suspicion is that someone like Alex Jones only cares about that stuff if he thinks that they're going to use it against his side, right? The side that he wants to fight for, probably more accurately, I could say, wants to grift off of. And now that it's being floated that they could just rid the US of the enemy within, deep state, communist, socialist, whatever it is that they're going to call people, just blanket statement of enemy of the state, maybe, right? And just leave it at that. We don't have to clarify that anymore. That he would then be contemplating, saying out loud, weeks before a presidential election, that the National Guard may need to be mobilized, maybe even the military, against U.S. citizens on U.S. soil. And after 20 or 30 years, the thing that Alex Jones had been screaming about that never seemed even close to coming true would finally come true, and he would applaud it. The thing that he was always warning against as the greatest threat to the republic and all this other nonsense. And it only mattered if it was George W. Bush who was going to do it, or if it was Clinton. And yeah, it's sickening to see from out of the mouth of somebody who's already become quite sickening. And I know I've mentioned previously on the channel how unfortunate it is to see the mental health implications and the family unit and community implications of all of this diabolically, unilaterally serving rhetoric that takes place from both of them, Alex Jones and Trump. And it's really sad to see that not only is it exposed that he doesn't care about posse comitatus, he doesn't care about turning the U.S. military on its own citizens. He only cares if he thinks it's going to be pointed at Ron Paul / Tea Party minded folks. People who he thinks are the true patriots or whatever nonsense. The true patriots who will buy his colloidal silver and his coins, sponsors, gold and silver, and his supplements or whatever he's doing these days to put on bronzer and pretend like he's more buff than he was several weeks ago. I'm getting maybe a little esoteric in my knowledge here, but if you know, you know. But yeah, it's disconcerting and it's unfortunate, and it's as unfortunate that it's not shocking. But it serves to put yet another fine point on the magnitude of destruction that these people can cause for their own need to serve their power and ego, authoritarian qualities, and above all, their need of greed. Get them that money no matter what. Say whatever, as long as people will buy the nonsense that's being sold. So that's how I feel at the moment. Not the most uplifting message, but so goes the ethos of this playlist. All right, folks, if you walked with me, we got in probably about a half mile, depending on how quickly you're going, 10 plus minutes. And if you didn't walk, no worries. I certainly appreciate you watching this far. And as always, I will see you in the next video.